Up next on Eco Company.
Giving a helping hand and saving energy too. It's a non-profit kitchen that's cutting back on energy use and more, while cooking up thousands of meals.
If we're going to make soup for 1,400 seniors in a day, or if we're going to make stock, this is what we have to do it in. It uses a tremendous amount of energy.
Greening up their operation and changing lives too.
Then we head out to the cotton fields and find out it's one of the dirtiest crops around.
Cotton has always been one of the most toxic. It started out with the boll weevil and ways to try to kill that.
But out here, farmers are doing things differently and getting on the road to sustainability.
And who's afraid of a little mud?
It's pretty squishy.
Learning how to make adobe bricks.
And there we go.
Whoa, that's so cool.
And giving solar cooking a try too. All that and more on Eco Company.
Starting now.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Eco Company. I'm Adam.
And I'm Jelena. This show is all about ways to help preserve the Earth's resources.
And ways to help one another.
It's nice when doing one helps to achieve the other.
And Brendan found an organization doing just that.
And now for two things that go hand in hand, helping people and the planet at the same time. And that's what Project Open Hand is all about. It's a place that's hustling and bustling all day long.
That doesn't begin to get at it. It's fun though. It's never a dull moment around here.
That's because here at Project Open Hand in San Francisco, volunteers are cooking up hundreds of meals a day. Today they're packing up recyclable trays filled with green beans, egg noodles, and beef stew. Plus we can't forget the burgers and all the toppings.
We have a forklift. That's how much food we use. You could not unload by hand the trucks we use. So we probably go through a tractor trailer load worth of food in any given week.
This nonprofit, founded in 1985, is doing it all to feed their clients free, healthy meals.
Project Open Hand provides meals and groceries to people with HIV, people with other critical illnesses, and to seniors.
It's important to keep things sustainable because in this senior center alone, they serve 170 meals a day, and that's a lot of food. On any given day, it all adds up to 2,600 prepared meals, either delivered to senior centers or directly to homes. That's 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And as you might imagine, it takes a lot of energy and resources to do it all.
It takes an enormous amount of energy. It takes energy in the form of electricity. It takes energy in the form of natural gas. We use a lot of water, and a lot of what we use is constant. So when we run a freezer nonstop forever.
That's why Dan Schumann and Steve Hunter are greening things up around here. Recycling and composting are a given. But they're doing a lot more than that.
We look at every aspect of what we do and we see how can we do it better. We use solar panels to create the electricity to run our freezers, to run our electrical equipment. We use solar thermal panels to generate heat, to heat our hot water for all of our cleaning purposes.
Dan Schumann's the director of operations, and he's giving us a tour of this place. No small undertaking. Take the kitchen. It's full of convection ovens, skillets, and huge kettles for things like this stew.
This is an 80-gallon kettle. So if we're going to make soup for 1,400 seniors in a day, or if we're going to make stock, this is what we have to do it in. It uses a tremendous amount of energy.
Then there's the so-called hot box. It keeps food hot off the line, warm until it heads out for delivery.
Each one of these hot cabinets uses 1,300 watts of energy, and we have 6 of them running. We probably preheat them around 8:45 in the morning, and we keep them running until afternoon.
I mean, a light bulb only uses like 50 watts.
Exactly. So it gives you an idea, and this is just one aspect of the energy consumption that goes on every day here to get meals out.
Of course, they're not just using energy for heat. They need it to cool, too. It takes 11 coolers and freezers to keep all the food, like these turkeys, stored at the right temp. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Check this out.
It's about 31 feet long, 11 feet wide, and 8 feet tall.
So Dan, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty freezing in here, and this is a big freezer too. How cold is it in here right now?
Right now it's about 8 degrees Fahrenheit. It gets as cold as, say, 10 below zero in here. That's why we call it a freezer. We usually provide a jacket. We forgot yours today.
It's okay, I'll brave it through.
If you look around, you can see our frozen meals here. These meals in these tan color trays are our special diet meals. At any given moment, there's as many as 10,000 frozen meals in here waiting to go out to clients.
There's another whole part of this operation too, and that's the grocery store. It's where clients can come pick up groceries once a week, and that means more of these.
This is all of the coolers we need to keep all the product fresh. The problem is glass doors make it easy to see what's in there, but they don't insulate very well. It's just yet another example of where all that energy, all that electricity is going.
A big way they're helping offset all the energy they use is on the roof.
To date, this array has produced about 110,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, and it's avoided the emission of about 164,000 pounds of CO2. I'm not about using electricity, I'm about feeding clients. And anything I can do to divert funds directly towards the purchase of food is a victory for me. Along the way, we've been upgrading our fleet.
That's where their fleet of vehicles comes in. No more gas guzzlers for them.
We can deliver 96 meals in this, and we can do it at 26 miles per gallon.
And when they need something bigger,
Right here is our newest vehicle. We actually call it Big Red.
newer, more fuel-efficient vans get much better gas mileage.
It's one of the biggest cargo vans on the road, and yet it gets 22 miles to the gallon. And it runs on diesel, so you can actually run biofuel in it.
So speaking of transportation, you've heard it's better to buy local, right? Well, they're taking that motto a step further in here, where Operation Peanut Butter is underway.
We grind our own peanut butter fresh every day.
Schumann picked up this used machine for just $1,000. They packaged some for sale, with the money going back to the nonprofit. All right, so I've kept this spoon in my pocket for a couple hours now, ready for some of this peanut butter. Can I try some?
Absolutely, we don't let anybody leave here without trying some peanut butter. This is actually hot and warm right out of the machine.
Very warm.
So while Brendan can't talk, I'll just say that Brendan's very happy right now. I can see through his eyes that he's loving the peanut butter. He's saying, this is the best peanut butter I've ever had.
So from providing nutritious food from their kitchens, to fresh produce and organic bread in the grocery store, Project Open Hand is on a mission to provide better meals to people who need them, while doing its part to produce less pollution and save resources too. Something we'd call a win-win situation.
Is your organization doing something to help people and preserve the environment?
Then we want to hear about it. Shoot a video telling your story.
Upload it to eco-company.tv.
Okay, I'll bet most of what you're wearing right now is made out of cotton.
Even if it's only one cotton shirt, cotton has a big footprint in the world.
Next, we head into the cotton fields to find out what's being done to make cotton growing more sustainable.
More Eco Company is still ahead.
Welcome back. So chances are you're wearing a shirt right now made of cotton.
But ever stop to think about where it came from or whether it was grown with chemicals?
Cotton is one of the most sprayed crops in the world.
But as Jordan found out, there's change on the horizon.
I'm surrounded by fields of cotton in California's San Joaquin Valley. It's one of the top producing agricultural fields in the world. And what we discover here will change the way you think about your favorite old t-shirt. Welcome to Los Banos, California, a place where cotton is king, and fields of so-called white gold stretch for miles.
I think it's really hard for people to even know where their cotton comes from.
And although cotton may look clean, it's anything but.
Even if it's only one cotton shirt, cotton has a big footprint in the world.
Did you know it requires over 700 gallons of water to grow enough cotton for a single t-shirt?
Cotton historically has had a lot of bad names. It's been called a thirsty crop. It's also been one of the traditionally highest pesticide users in the state of California, and also used some of the most toxic chemicals that are used in agriculture.
Worldwide, more pesticides are sprayed on cotton than any other crop, except in places like this. Here, farmers are on the road to sustainability.
We've been working with California cotton farmers to reduce their pesticide use.
Marcia Gibbs is the executive director of the Sustainable Cotton Project, and we're hitching a ride with the nonprofit to find out how they're doing it. All right, guys, it's time for us to load up and head out. Let's go see some cotton. It looks like we've arrived at our first destination just in time.
What you see here is a field ready to harvest.
And soon, these machines will go into action. It's time for the harvest to begin, here and across the valley. These huge tractors weave up and down the fields, picking cotton row by row. The SCP says cotton cultivation uses about 11% of the world's pesticides, and some of those are classified as carcinogens by the Environmental Protection Agency.
Cotton has always been one of the most toxic. It started out with the boll weevil and ways to try to kill that.
That's this critter, beetles that just love to munch on cotton buds and flowers. They brought the U.S. cotton industry in the South to its knees in the 1920s. So when synthetic chemicals came around during World War II, guess what farmers used to get rid of their problem pests?
People were just basically spraying fields without any idea what or why was out there.
In the late 70s, people started to wise up. The U.S. government got a successful eradication program going. The idea was to start using nature to control things.
One of the things we really try and stress is that it's a biological system, and that there are good bugs and then there are the pest bugs out there. And a cotton field will have a very large number of beneficial natural enemies that will manage the key pests, which would include a whitefly, aphids.
It's called integrated pest management, a way to control pests using as little insecticide as possible, while still growing a high-quality crop. It's Dr. Peter Goodell's specialty at University of California Cooperative Extension.
You have to, one, get out here frequently, look at the field, monitor the pest, identify the pest, assess the pest, and then start making some decisions about how you're going to manage it.
Integrated pest management takes more effort because workers have to spend more time in the field to keep pests in check.
Sustainable is slightly more labor intensive.
That brings us to Chad Crivelli. He's a third-generation farmer in Dos Palos, California, and he's turned to the Sustainable Cotton Project to make changes at his family's farm.
They saw a need here in the San Joaquin Valley to clean up the environment, the air quality especially.
By helping farmers reduce or eliminate the most toxic chemicals, we're reducing the load of chemicals that would be running off or volatilizing into the air, and that way we're protecting not just the soil and the water, but we're protecting human health as well.
Crivelli also uses hedgerows, natural barriers that help keep the number of pests down since they attract wildlife and predators.
We've seen a lot of wildlife that we hadn't seen in years, pheasants and quail returning that haven't been in my lifetime in the last 30 years.
California's gone a long way to clean up its crop using this method.
In general, in a cotton field like this, it's never going to be pesticide-free, but we can get it down to the minimal number, which in California it generally is about 1 to maybe 2 applications, maybe as much as 4 applications in a single year.
In other places around the world, it could be as many as 15. It's a toxic mess for the planet and people.
You know, we're promoting healthy communities, and we do that simply by reducing the chemical use of the workers, of their families, of the farmers.
And last up, the gin. It's where the cotton goes after it's harvested. Let's go check it out. It's a noisy place too, where there's a lot going on. This is where the lint gets separated from the cotton.
Lint is the product that comes off of the seed, which the textile mill is looking for to make the yarns and the fabrics.
Mike Davis keeps everything running smoothly out here as the gin's manager. Cotton arrives in these modules.
We actually break it up, we send it into a hopper and then to a drying unit where we dry the fiber.
At 200 degrees. The heat helps separate the lint from the other particles textile manufacturers don't want. Then the lint gets cleaned, the seeds get separated and sent through tubes to end up here. All of it's used for something. Tell us about what those excess pieces are used for.
Okay, well the seed cotton goes primarily to dairies for feed. It's high in protein.
Even the so-called leftover trash from the whole process can be used in compost.
It's a good potassium and nitrogen source.
Back inside, the lint goes through what's called comber saws. Then it's baled up, tagged, and bagged.
In the end, we have growers who've produced a crop that we believe is cleaner.
It's off to the textile companies who will use it to make the shirt on your back. But it's always important to remember where it came from and how it was grown.
The cotton clothing we wear really does come from somewhere, and it comes from these people who actually are out here in the farmlands growing it. And we work closely with them to make sure that that's grown in a safe and responsible way so that your t-shirts and your clothing is having at least minimal impact on the environment around.
Pride is the emotion. It's just a proud feeling to know that it's getting actually recognized and other people do appreciate it.
And the Sustainable Cotton Project hopes more and more of that cotton is grown sustainably.
Coming up, using your feet
And toes.
to make bricks,
It's pretty squishy.
making adobe bricks, and trying out a solar oven. Next on Eco Company. Building bricks out of mud and baking cookies in a solar oven.
Sounds like 2 ways to live sustainably, right?
Up next, Jelena rolls up her sleeves and shows us how it's done.
Forget rolling up my sleeves. This sweater's coming off. There's a lot of work to do, and I'm ready to get started. Welcome to the school farm, a place where if you want to cook, it'll be in one of these. And if you build something, it'll look like this. From making adobe bricks to cooking in here. This non-profit co-op run by the Ecology Center of San Francisco is serious about showing us how to live lighter on the planet. Sam Hartman and Davin Wentworth Thrashers are 2 of the educators here. They've got a full house. These teens are here on a field trip with Build On.
Build On is an international nonprofit. We get involved with high school students and we engage them in out-of-the-classroom activities.
There's definitely plenty to keep everyone busy here. Wondering what this is? It's a chicken coop, and it's made of all natural materials, like adobe brick. And now it's time for me to go make some. All right, the shoes are coming off. Okay, so what do we have to do here?
All right, all we have to do is mix the 75% sand aggregate,
this.
correct, with the 25% clay just by stomping our feet. It's kind of like stomping grapes, although maybe not quite as squishy.
It's pretty squishy. Squishy, and yes, a bit messy too.
This is actually just like you might get at a spa, you know, get to rub some nice minerals on you.
When they first stomp on it, it's so slippery, especially when they added the water.
Next comes the straw, which helps bind the brick together.
Yeah, some people call this a little chicken dance, you know, but you add just a little bit and sprinkle it in.
After a few minutes of our chicken dance, let's see if this stuff makes the grade.
There. See, when it stays together like that, that's a nice solid mass. That means you've got a great building material.
Looks like we're in business.
Really pack it in there.
So you were out building bricks, right? How did you like it?
I think it's awesome. It's a really dirty activity, but it's just great. I mean, you're helping the environment and everyone's having fun.
I really think it's interesting.
And do you want to teach other people how to do this since now you know how to do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Getting students in the outdoors, building bricks, as well as building community with one another. That's our big focus.
Now it's my turn.
Hold the brick down and slide the foam off. And there we go.
Whoa. That's so cool. Davin says they'll use these bricks to build an outdoor classroom. Now that our work is done, it's time for some food. They've got pizza cooking in the cob oven, and check out the solar ovens. Using reflectors, they capture the sun's infrared rays to create heat.
So the basic idea is it's capturing that solar infrared heat energy and trapping it under the glass, kind of like the greenhouse effect. But this is a good greenhouse effect.
How does it being solar affect the cooking? Does it take longer or?
You know, it really doesn't. It'll cook anything your oven at home would cook.
Looks like the temp's right where we want it. I brought some cookies and I'm ready to throw them on and try out the solar oven.
All right, let's do it.
Let's put these in.
All right.
Now we just have to wait. Why is it important to use a solar oven and not a regular oven that's in your house?
Well, the solar oven is using this abundant source of solar energy that's all around us. And if you can capture that energy and use it for something like cooking, that's energy you don't have to use from your power plant, which is burning fossil fuels.
About 30 minutes later, presto! It looks like our cookies are ready, and I've worked up an appetite. These look delicious. From getting our exercise to the not-so-difficult task of watching these bake under the sun, we'd call this all in a good day's work.
You could be a part of Eco Company too.
Create your own video.
Shoot a story about being green.
Or somebody doing something unique to help save the planet.
Maybe your school is doing something to reduce its carbon footprint.
Or shoot a video tip showing something all teens can do to help preserve our resources.
Add some music and have some fun.
Then upload your video at eco-company.tv.
Your video could be selected to be on the show.
And you'll get an Eco Company wristband to show that you're committed to helping save the planet.
So join the company, Eco Company.
And be a part of the solution.
So that's it for us this week on Eco Company. Thanks for tuning in.
For more on these stories and info on the show, head to eco-company.tv.
Or check us out on Facebook. We'll see you next time
on Eco Company.